I got some mail! I am very excited about this one. I got this awesome package here from our friends over at Happier. I am very excited about this one. Big thank you to Lilia and the entire team over at Happier. I'm so excited about this. So if you're unfamiliar, Happier is a high-end Chinese juice company, and they make some really interesting dessert flavors, as well as a ton of fruits and a bunch of other flavors. But today, we are going to be trying some of their dessert line. Now, there are tons and tons of fantastic Chinese e-liquid manufacturers. However, most of the time, you mainly see fruit flavors. It's kind of rare to see dessert flavors to this scale. And I think that's mainly because regional palates are different. For instance, a lot of the dessert flavors that you probably think of in the category of dessert juices are based around American and European recipes, like, I don't know, toffee and cupcakes and Fruit Loop cereal and stuff like that. But as someone who has spent some time in mainland China, I can tell you that there is no shortage of delicious desserts and sweets and all kinds of stuff like that. However, a lot of them are more fruit-based than kind of cream-based. If you want me to get really nerdy about why that probably is, that is probably because the majority of people that live in mainland China are actually lactose intolerant, and there's this weird replacement for milk with like yogurt based things, and that's why a lot of the milk based juices that come out of mainland have like kind of a yogurty texture to it. It's very interesting. The science behind all of that I find fascinating. I like Chinese juices a lot. I like China more than I like America. That's why I am so excited about these flavors, because culturally they are a rarity that comes out of mainland China. I'm very interested to see Happier's take on more complex, richer dessert vapes. So without further ado, let's take a look inside. First juice we have here is strawberry cream cake. 20 ml bottles, but they are filled to 60 ml and they're in a 3. Next is strawberry waffles. Hopefully that's like a strawberry waffle cone, or maybe it's like waffles, like pancake breakfasty waffles with strawberries on it. I don't know. Next up is just a classic cheesecake right there. It's got nice coloring to it. I'm sure that's going to be great. And we also have oatmeal cookies. In the cultural significance of flavors is such a rarity to have come out of a mainland company. It's very interesting, and I'm super excited to experience their take on it. And this one right here is what we're going to be trying today. This is watermelon cheese. Now, I'm assuming this is a watermelon cheesecake, which is something I have personally never experienced before. I'm very excited to experience a watermelon cheesecake. I don't really know how to wrap my head around that. So I love cheesecake juices. That's one of my favorite profiles to vape. I will always gravitate towards a cheesecake juice over pretty much anything else. So for this juice tasting, we're going to be using my Druga Foxy mod here with the Zat Hog RDA up top. I unboxed the Zat Hog RDA and set it up for the first time a couple videos ago, and I legitimately have not put it down since. This has the same coils in it. Obviously, I have fresh cotton, and I'm running some of Kyle's coils in here, still the same ones that I set up in a video a couple videos ago. These coils are incredible. I've rewicked them a couple times, I've cleaned them a couple times, and I can't put them down. I like that they sealed these with a little bit of tape for shipping for the pressurization. I think that's a nice touch. Thank you for doing that. And if you wanted to meet the wonderful people over at Happier, they will be at TPE 25, and so will I. So if you want to meet me or meet the wonderful people over at Happier, we both will conveniently be at the same expo. Speaking of which, I want to extend a big thank you to Unique and the entire team over at TPE for the wonderful invite. We are so excited to come back. TPE is the highlight of our entire year. I am so incredibly excited to be back at TPE. So if you're going to TPE, let me know in the comments below, and I would love to meet you and come try your products and make a video about your company. Let's give it a try. Cheers. Okay, all right. Very, very complex flavor. It is so much more complex than I expected it to be. There are so many different elements. Okay, so I'm going to start with the watermelon. The watermelon is at the front of the inhale. It's this kind of sharp candied watermelon, almost like one of these candies that you would find at like a old school, obscure, small town candy shop type place. The watermelon is sweet and nice and summery. It has a little bit of a throat hit to it. The nick that they're using is very, very good. It is smooth, but it has a little bit of a throat hit to it that comes in on the exhale, and there's almost like an ice element to it that I wasn't really expecting, and maybe that's to simulate like a cold cheesecake. As far as the cheese element goes, that is very interesting. That is a very interesting element, and I don't know how to feel about it. It's like a Greek yogurt style cheesy texture to it, not so much like a milk texture. And this is what I was talking about in the beginning. In mainland, you see a lot of replacement for dairy products with this like yogurt type thing, you know, those like little yogurts like that. It's a very interesting flavor, and it's super nostalgic. It reminds me of Cocoa Park. There is this really obscure little tiny bakery on the bottom like tunnel area of Cocoa Park in Shenzhen, and I would get little pastries there all the time, and it reminds me of going to skateboard with my friends at the square. It's got that like monsoon season summery kind of feel and vibe to it. I know that's like nostalgia that I'm mentioning, that is kind of a very unique subdivision experience that not a lot of people can relate to, but that's what this tastes like to me. You know what would be interesting? If you guys could make the corn juice into an e-liquid flavor. I would love a juice that tastes like the corn juice. Jiao, I think it's called, the corn juice. That would be such a cool flavor to have. Now, as nostalgic and cool as this experience is, I do have to hold it to the standards of dessert vapes. And most dessert vapes pair nicely with coffee. So I have a cup of black coffee here, and we'll see. The watermelon kind of candy element in here doesn't pair that great with coffee, but the cheesecake side of it does. Due to YouTube's policy, I cannot tell you exactly how much these juices go for, and I can't tell you exactly where to get them, but the brand is called Happier. So, with all that being said, let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments of this video. Would you try a watermelon cheese flavor? 谢谢你提供美味的故事，再见。